Anyway, things are heating up. Beyond Ben-Gvir and Netanyahu being personally bigoted, it looks like the American intelligence apparatuses are corroborating, again, what leftists have been saying for forever. Exclusive U.S. intel agencies have warned the Trump admin that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is likely to take steps that will undermine Trump's effort to reach a lasting peace deal with Iran. Really? Trump didn't say thank you. Yeah, I suppose not. Liberals are always 5 years behind. Liberals aren't even 5 years behind right now. Liberals haven't even caught up to they're not even caught up to the realization yet. Israel appears intent on maintaining military operations against Iran's proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon, an aim that would flout a core element of the fledgling agreement that calls for an end to hostilities in that country, according to intel reports. The analysis comes at a moment of growing tension between Netanyahu's government and Trump administration officials who have publicly warned Israel against launching attacks against Hezbollah that might derail Trump's deal. Yup. Yeah, Israel didn't just violate the terms of the ceasefire, like, immediately. They launched a fuck ton of airstrikes in southern Lebanon in response to a Hezbollah drone strike that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. But remember, folks, the terms of the memorandum specify that Israel must withdraw from Lebanon, and they haven't. Hezbollah can kill as many IDF soldiers as they want without violating the ceasefire. The ceasefire requires them to leave Lebanon. Hezbollah is not violating the ceasefire by striking IDF soldiers that are still invading Lebanon. No, it's not Pepe posting. It's literally true. The news media will obfuscate this clear fact by pretending as though both the IDF and Hezbollah have an equal right to occupy southern Lebanon, as though the presence of the IDF itself is not a violation of the ceasefire. Anything and everything Hezbollah does to the IDF in southern Lebanon is an act of self-defense.
What was supposed to be day one of this new 60-day negotiating period between the United States and Iran has turned into day nothing. Vice President J.D. Vance was supposed to be in Switzerland meeting today, but that trip has now been postponed, is what they're saying, with little explanation. A diplomat tells CNN that Iran is seeking guarantees that hostilities in Lebanon will end before it resumes talks with the U.S.
Yeah, the first talks were supposed to be in Switzerland, but Iran has canceled them because Israel's not leaving Lebanon. So, like, why bother, you know?
There was new violence overnight. Israel says 4 soldiers were killed in Lebanon when a Hezbollah explosive device struck a tank. Israel hit back, launching airstrikes that killed at least 18 people. That's according to Lebanon's health ministry. I want to get right to CNN's Nick Robertson on the shores of lovely Lake Lucerne in Switzerland. Nick, it's a nice picture there, but not nice results, at least in terms of what the U.S. and Iran were hoping.
Yeah, John, look, if you wanted a venue that speaks peace and tranquility, where two sides, the United States and Iran, can get away from the sort of domestic pressures of, is this a good MOU, is it a bad MOU, and just sit down and try to talk through and find the details and commonality that's going to bring a final result if it's achievable. This would be the location. That hotel on the top of the mountain there behind me was the venue. James Bond movies have been done around here. Goldfinger, I believe, was one of them.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? We're in the apocalypse. Can you fucking focus? Can you shape up? Western news media trying to find a way to cover Israel ending the world without mentioning it's Israel ending the world. They shoot bombed these movies here. Not a nice picture, eh? What?
But right now, the thing that is missing here are the two sides. And as you say there, the Iranians are pointing to Lebanon and saying that that is part of the deal, that the first part of the memorandum of understanding is a ceasefire in all areas, including Lebanon. And
that's not something Iran says. That's just something the memorandum includes. Once again, media bias.
Part of that first line, first paragraph in the memorandum of understanding is that all sides should respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Lebanon. But at the same time, Hezbollah is attacking Israeli troops who are inside of
Lebanon, yeah.
Lebanon. The Israeli Prime Minister says that is an abrogation of the ceasefire agreement. The Iranians are saying they're not coming until it's sorted out. So where do we realistically stand right now? These talks have been beset and fraught by...
Western media is just going to straight up, like, not acknowledge what's happening here. They haven't been doing it for months. They're just going to keep not doing it. We're going to sleepwalk into the end of the fucking world, and people are going to tune into CNN and have no idea what's happening.
The issue of Lebanon from the get-go 2 months ago, was it or was it not included? It's definitively in the agreement, but that is the trickiest and hardest thing to pin down for President Trump, and this is going to be the question, I think, where the pressure lands from President Trump towards the Israeli Prime Minister. Can he bring down the temperature of the hostilities there enough to bring the Iranians to the table, the talks table up here? We've seen this before.
Hold on. Relevant posting. The day of our Lord, Juneteenth. From Joe Kent. For the MOU to hold and result in lasting peace, we must restrict aid to Israel immediately and will not defend them should Iran opt to strike in response. This is true, but I also don't think it's enough. Like, I genuinely think we are, according to Trump, which means according to somebody who told Trump this, we are 4 weeks away from running up against operational limits to the global petroleum supply. We are 4 weeks away from, like, genuinely very bad times beginning. Remember that this does not all get fixed as soon as the Strait opens. Even after the Strait opens, we're still talking about months to resume even a fraction of the pre-war oil supply and years to resume its previous amounts. We are already past many of the best and even middle case scenarios for recovery. It's possible we're hurtling towards worst case scenario recovery. And in spite of all of this, I mean, we're right up against it, man. There's no timeline. There's no version of this where we're not all hurting. First reply, Lamal. IDF soldiers were killed today. The deal is over. Thank you, at Chicago Jew Ally, Chicago Jewish Alliance. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. CIA. Oh, no, sorry. It says CJA, but it really looks like CIA. And it's got, like, the pride flag Jewish star. Yeah. That's 5 of your tax dollars spent on Hasbara right there, straight to Mossad and back onto your Twitter feed. I really think you have to threaten them. Throwback to when Trump asked Miriam Adelson if she preferred the U.S. or Israel more. Why the fuck did he ask that, man? That's so fucking funny.
But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up.
He loves to humiliate others. He's only humiliating himself here, man. Sitting U.S. president pointing out that one of his mega donors is an Israeli asset who dumps hundreds of millions of dollars into affecting U.S. elections, even though she hates America and everything that it ostensibly stands for.
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank, $60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in, but they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country.
Well... Oh, wait, well, we're in Jerusalem. Yeah, so, yeah.
She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you.
Nervous laughter from the crowd because they're all like, wait, is he realizing? Wait, hold on. Does he have a problem with the fact that we're all like Nazis leeching off goodwill from the United States to build our Greater Israel project? Is he noticing?
Darling, for being here.
No, he's not. He's just fucking stupid. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind saying out loud that a mega donor to the Republican Party, Miriam Adelson, multi-billionaire who donated over $100 million to Trump's campaign in 2024, he doesn't seem to have an issue with pointing out the fact that she loves another country more than America, which really, really, like, again, man, and I've said it a million times before, but holy shit, Zionists do not give a fuck about anti-Semitism. Because if they did, they would be like, can you please stop screaming the dual loyalty trope into a bullhorn? Can you stop using a laser beam to carve it on the moon? Can the US president not, like, be doing this, please? I really do not think the average American Jewish citizen is more loyal. For one, I don't think anybody should be loyal to any country, but to the extent that one is, I think the average American Jewish person living in America is like, yeah, I live in America. I'm American. Miriam Adelson is the exception, not the rule. But, like, you know, they all don't seem to mind. Nobody seems to mind. Israeli Finance Minister Ben Smotrich confirms Israel's approaching control of nearly 70% of the Gaza Strip and that the enclave will remain in ruins to encourage the forced displacement of its inhabitants. That's cool, man. I don't suppose this is in English? No, and it's translated into Spanish. Quote, we control 60 to 70% of the Gaza Strip. We're destroying all its infrastructure. Everyone knows what this means. Gaza will be left in ruins and the inhabitants will just have to migrate because there will be nothing left to live there in the next decades. Nah, man. Dog, it's just like a random Israeli. It's not like, you know, their finance minister. It's not, dog, it's not Israel's problem. It's just every single elected and would-be elected official is like this. But it's not like, it's just Netanyahu's government. And also the opposition government. And also everyone. It's everyone. It's like the whole country, man. But for years we had to argue with fucking, you know, Blue MAGA, that this was always where it was going to lead. And you know the liberals are going to take the most pathetic conciliatory stance about this too. The ones like the oppositional NAFO types on Twitter are going to be like, well, Israel was fine back then, but now they've gone too far. And like, I believe this, but not in a way that the lefties do. Like, if anything, the lefties being hysterical about it back in 2023 made everyone take longer to realize how bad Israel was. Actually, the lefties being right early made me, through my oppositional defiance disorder, not want to acknowledge that they were correct. But now that they've been proven correct on everything they said about Israel's tendency towards Nazism and ethno-nationalism, like, actually, it was the left's fault we didn't realize it earlier. If it wasn't for the hysterical left, we all would have agreed with the left earlier. So anyway, like, what I'm saying is, like, they were right, but, like, in a way that vindicates me being wrong for years. It hurts to be prophetic, man. Sometimes people hate you for it. You're writing the argument too well for them. It's fucking embarrassing, and it's literally what all of them are going to do. They're going to do this smug. They're going to do the same shit conservatives did with Iraq, what they did with Vietnam, which is like, okay, yeah, maybe the anti-war left was right, but they were so annoying about it. And like, also sometimes the details were wrong. Like, the details from the people on Twitter were wrong, that like, it was fine that I ignored the major points for years in spite of the mounting evidence revealing that both my initial priors, my biases were wrong, like everything that informed my decision making, all of it was incorrect, but it's the left's fault.